Is it not amazing how, without modern utilities, the Amish access this very basic commodity of clean drinking water? Most of us are accustomed to merely opening up a tap and having clean water at our fingertips. But amazingly, these people have devised ways to get potable water. Their methods vary from ingenious traditional techniques to judiciously adapting modern innovations like desalination, and are amazingly simple yet practical. Today, we'll take a deep dive into the methods the Amish use to find, collect, and purify water. Along the way, we'll uncover some surprising facts, fascinating history, and inspiring lessons about resilience and sustainability. Let's get started. Water is not a commodity to the Amish, but part of their bonding with nature. While most of us would take running water for granted, to the Amish, it is a grant from heaven to be carefully preserved. This is respect stemming deep from the history of the Amish. The Amish community was established in Europe during the late 17th century. People then relied much on well, river, and rainwater to continue their agrarian way of life. Once they transferred to North America in the 18th century, they knew it all, and thus adapted these methods to the new environment. How many people know that even the conservative Amish use water wheels on running streams for milling grain or transmitting power to other machinery? This old-fashioned technology is still thriving in some parts of the Amish country. Well digging has been one of the oldest and surest methods of water collection. This, however, to the Amish is a talent passed from generation to generation, not just functional. Well, to begin with, some of the Amish wells are deeper than 300 feet. Just try to imagine digging such a distance into the ground without any modern drilling equipment. The Amish use horse-drawn rigs with hand tools. This is something in terms of engineering and endurance. And what about after the well is complete? They use hand pumps or wind-powered systems to pump up the water from below the surface. Incredibly efficient and quite independent of modern energy grids these pumps are. Talk about sustainable living. When it rains, the Amish sees an opportunity. This discussion is about rainwater harvesting, an important ingredient in their water management strategy. Gutters channel the rain to barrels or underground cisterns for a clean and adequate supply. You know, from just 1 inch of rain, the average roof can collect over 600 gallons of water. To the Amish, this is all from one storm, sometimes to last them for days, if not weeks. Most often, rainwater serves well in household endeavors such as washing, irrigating gardens, and caring for animals. In using what nature offers them, the Amish lessen their resilience on others and lessen their impact on the environment. Some of the communities get their water directly from natural springs. Water from such sources is highly valued in their purity, hence little or no treatment is required. A natural spring was an act of God to settlers of yore, Amish or otherwise. They were that important, with several towns having literally built themselves around them. Ponds act very much as reservoirs. The water does not go into the ingestion pattern, but it does serve a formidable purpose for irrigation and other agricultural uses. As long as these water sources are preserved, the Amish can be guaranteed that their crops and animals will continue to have water. Even the purest water is not always potable. This is why the Amish rely on effective, low-tech methods of purification. Sand and charcoal filters are commonly used for removing impurities, and boiling is still one of the safest methods of killing bacteria. Interesting is the fact that charcoal filters have been in place for several centuries, and even ancient civilizations knew its beneficial properties in water purification. It's a tradition that even the Amish keep alive by mixing that knowledge with modern applications. Some have even adopted ultraviolet light systems to assure safety in the water. The selectivity here in adopting modern technology underlines the pragmatism of the Amish in rejecting innovations that fail to comport with their values and needs. The Amish began experimenting with desalination in places where there was little fresh water. Desalination removes the salt from seawater to make the water drinkable. But with the Amish, this is a modern concept adapted into small-scale and off-grid systems to fit within their values. Now let me remind you that most of the seaward vessels always utilize desalination for the production of drinking water for the sailors. It's fascinating to see how land adapted this is from maritime technologies within the Amish communities. A good balance of the conservatism of the Amish with novelty is, hence, proof that the coexistence of old and new ideas on the path toward sustainability is possible. But most remarkable of all about the Amish approach is the spirit of community. Well digging, maintaining pumps, or putting in rain barrels, never done in isolation, neighbors show up with tools, advice, and elbow grease. On some Amish barn raisings, they even install the water system on the same day. It's just a community spirit of a lot of people working together to get what everyone needs. In a world so characterized by individualism, the Amish remind us of what can be accomplished with collective effort. Their collaboration makes certain that everyone has access to clean, safe water. The Amish can teach us all something. They have shown us it is possible to live in a non-exploitative manner, appreciative of nature, and design systems that favor community over convenience. Many of the Amish water practices are under study today by modern sustainability experts as examples of eco-friendly ways to live. Who would have known that old-fashioned could hold the key to our future? Allow me to get into some specifics about how water features in daily use in the life of the Amish, whereas most of us would be using an automatic appliance. Theirs is manual. In an Amish home, the water is fetched either manually or by a simple piping that's normally pressurized by gravity or wind. No dishwashers or washing machines could be found here because they clean their clothes and dishes by hand, mostly with rainwater or well water. Did you know the Amish have wash houses? These are small separate buildings wherein only laundry, pickling of foods, or other such household tasks are done to keep the house proper and tidy. This would obviously conserve water, and yet still make the community conscious of its use. The Amish would be reminded of every bucket fetched and every pump handle pulled. Amish farming involves water, and they need to find a way of irrigating their crops, as public irrigation systems are not in their advantage. In older times, much Amish farming relied on hand excavation of ditches and canals to route the water to where it would be needed most. Nowadays, a rainwater collection and pond system makes the operation a bit more efficient, but the same principles apply. Farmers grow crops that naturally require very little water or simply drought-resistant ones. They use a lot of corn, alfalfa, and hardy vegetables as main crops. Instead of high-tech sprinkler systems, you often see Amish farmers using simple, gravity-fed irrigation to even watering by hand. It is a slower process, but it ensures every drop of water is used wisely. For the Amish, fetching water is not always easy, mostly during winter. The frozen temperatures may make wells more inaccessible, but the rain barrels would not even be an option. Many Amish communities keep water in underground cisterns, insulated from the cold, and some even use the old wood-burning stoves to thaw frozen pumps or pipes. Spring rains mean everything to the Amish. It refills the storage of their water supply. Besides, it's considered the opening of the planting season. An abundance of large Amish families celebrate the return of warm seasons with shared lunches and dinner parties. The Amish lifestyle has an impressively low environmental impact. By relying on natural water sources and avoiding large-scale industrial systems, they contribute to cleaner waterways and healthier ecosystems. Think about it. No large-scale wastewater plants, no chemical-laden runoff, and no over-extraction of groundwater. In many ways, the Amish are teaching us that life can be in harmony with the planet to meet basic needs. Even environmental groups acknowledge how well the farming practice of the Amish people works with nature. They maintain soil health through crop rotation, limiting irrigation, and using organic fertilizers. Now, let us juxtapose the Amish approach to water with modern systems. Most of us enjoy the comfort of being able to pull from municipal water supplies, but at what cost? Where most mainstream infrastructure-intensive systems contribute to waste, pollution, and reliance on finite resources, the Amish participate in only what is necessary in order to preserve resources for the next generations. One wild statistic: while the average American uses up some 80 gallons of water every day, the average for the Amish is less than half that amount. Now that's efficiency. The Amish people make continuous innovations in the face of huge water challenges that face the world. Most communities have devised new ways of improving water collection and its distribution subjected to values. Other influences include small-scale pumps, improvements in filtration systems, as well as partnering with non-Amish engineers. It is a compliment, really, to them in the way that they do it. Did you know that some of the Amish communities work with environmental scientists to analyze the techniques and make them large for better use? Their methods could be a solution to solving the world's water crisis in different areas of the globe. The Amish way of life reminds us of an important factor. Simplicity does not mean inefficiency. Their ways, founded in tradition and ingenuity, offer something for all of us to learn from. So what can we learn? First, sustainability is possible when we respect nature's limits. Second, working together as a community can solve even the toughest challenges. And finally, sometimes the best solutions are the simplest ones. For the Amish people, water is not a natural resource, but a reflection of faith. This in turn originates from a worldly belief concerning their relationship with water. God has given it to them as part of His grand creation. Water features in religious activities of many Amish communities. For example, baptism is a very important issue in their religion, where most are baptized in rivers or streams. This is a very symbolic gesture that ties them to religion and to nature. This respect for water ties in with their Anabaptist roots in Europe, and that during the 16th and 17th centuries, it was the centerpiece of most of their rituals, and even a haven during persecution, in which many people went and hid near rivers and back valleys. Some of the Amish view natural springs as having the capability of healing, reflective of both a spiritual and practical connection with water. Speaking of healing, did you know that water features prominently in Amish medicine? Though they evade modern pharmaceutical medicines, the Amish people lean toward water as one of the elements in many of their natural remedies. Herbal teas are among the most accessible methods in preparation, such as rainwater or spring water for colds and stomach aches, respectively. Other treatments include steam inhalation for congestion by boiled water with aromatic essential oils. Here's one that's interesting. Some of the Amish do an after rinse with their hair in warm water and then use apple cider vinegar to help create shine and health. It's a homemade tradition that has rather set sail outside the Amish communities. Water also plays a great role in the Amish diet. From irrigating the gardens, cooking, and preserving foods, it's the backbone of their cuisine. In the Amish kitchen, fresh produce from rain and pond irrigation is a supreme thing. The meals were prepared from water fetched out from wells or rain barrels, while soups, stews, and homemade broths were very dependent on this clean resource. They would have known this since they were so good at pickling and preserving, where long life came from using such baths in sealed jars. These are practices through which the Amish feed themselves and maintain their connection to the land and the resources within. While the Amish have water management under a tight leash, no society remains immunized against problems. Drought and contaminants, as well as shifting climate changes, have made getting water quite complicated in the past few years. For example, runoff from neighborhood non-Amish farms sometimes leaks into the water sources that need additional filtering. In other regions, aquifers are being overdrafted by other developments in the surrounding area, which means there is less left for the Amish. Yet amidst these tribulations, the Amish are quite resilient. They have adapted by making their wells deeper, expanding rainwater harvesting systems, and even appealing to local governments for policy discussions to protect shared water resources. Let's share a few stories of Amish ingenuity. One Pennsylvania community suffered through a drought so long that crops and livestock were in danger. Instead of panicking, the Amish banded together to build a system of connected ponds, each collecting rainwater from surrounding fields. This system saved their harvest and became a model for neighboring farms. In another community, an Amish inventor has invented a hand-crank water pump that operates faster than regular models. This device has already been taken up by various districts, showing that innovation does not necessarily require electricity or high-tech gadgets. These remind me that if misery exists, then there's a way of getting out using creativity and teamwork. The way the Amish live is truly an inspiring way of life among respective communities, and it does the world a thing or two about sustainability. Researchers are now studying the Amish ways to come up with solutions for water scarcity all over the world. A lot of the Amish traditions that are expected to be practiced in the countryside have been adopted by cities just to minimize flooding and other clean water. Some of these cities now make it a requirement for new constructions. From small villages to sprawling cities, the Amish show that respecting water isn't just practical, but a must-do for the future of sustainability. The more I learn about the Amish, the more I just reflect on my own use of water. How often do we turn the faucet on and then forget about it, or waste this precious resource without any regard? The Amish remind us to stop, appreciate, and do with intention. Perhaps we are just due for a dose of Amish logic, harvesting the rain, using only what is needed, or even just stopping to thank the earth for all it so selflessly provides. The Amish story of water is not about the well and the barrel, but rather about being resilient, resourceful, and respectful toward nature. It's a way of living that teaches how to live intentionally, care for communities, and value the planet. Thanks for joining us on this ride into Amish water practices. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with someone who enjoys stories of ingenuity and sustainability. Let us know in the comments, what is one thing you will do differently in your life after learning about Amish water practices? If you enjoy this video and want to learn more about the Amish lifestyle, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to bring valuable content and practical knowledge to our viewers. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments, and let us know what topics you'd like to see next.